Welcome to episode 45 of the Lightning Round, and this is a very special episode because it was exactly a year ago today, if you're watching it the day this came out. May 27th, 2012 was the very first time I ever put out an episode of the Lightning Round, and it is today, May 27th, 2013, my 1-year anniversary, and with us today we have a plethora of special guests to join me for this celebration. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
My name is Soundspeed. I like long walks on the beach, and I was in like 1 or 2 episodes of the Lightning Round.
Oh, you're putting yourself out there to all the ladies?
Oh, well, I mean, you gotta make yourself available. You never know if just posting an episode of Lightning Round is gonna get you laid.
He's single!
It's not
I'm really single. I'm like less than single. I'm like -1.
Oh my god, that's horrible!
One really is the loneliest number.
I'm that one girl from that one video.
Except no, it's me. I'm Surefire.
You are really good at that. I'm E-Dragon, and I have nothing clever to say at the moment.
I'm Mytho, herp derp.
He's really, really tired.
He's very, very tired.
He's very
right now.
tired indeed.
Listen to this. I was the one who killed Discord and your friends are next. P.S. Butts. That's all it says.
What?
It's on the 3rd page back of my QT.
Wait, what? What?
It says,
So
I was the one
you
who
right
killed
now?
Discord and your friends are next. P.S. Butts.
I think I actually saw that a little while
It's
ago.
in the
I
PMB
did too.
section.
Oh, wow. So, okay, here's what's going to happen. As for announcements this week, next interviews that we have coming up, we're going to be next week talking about Equestria Girls. We're going to have a huge discussion about Equestria Girls and what we think about it. Most of these people will be present for that as well. Yeah, these people. I'm talking about you guys.
Woohoo!
Forget.
Yay. I will
And
be
so-
tired.
So most of these guys will be here for the Equestria Girls discussion that we have,
Oh
and
yeah!
hopefully hear their opinions on it.
Opinions.
But that'll be next week. The week following that, I do have an interview with the leader of Fiesta Equestria. So we'll be talking about that convention in full and hopefully finding out a couple more details about it since we're talking to the leader of it. So that'll be really interesting, and that'll be coming up. After that, I'm really not 100% sure what we're going to be doing, and I guess we'll just figure that out when we get there. I'm also going to take this time to make one announcement that I haven't told anyone yet.
Super special, awesome secret.
This is the 1-year anniversary of the Lightning Round, but it's also going to be one of the last episodes of the Lightning Round.
What?
Starting after Fiesta Equestria, which is, if you're not aware, Fiesta Equestria is going to be the weekend of June 28th through the 30th, something like that. That last week of June, we're going to be doing a live episode there, and it will be our last episode of the Lightning Round. And what I'm going to be doing is focusing a lot more on our fanfic readings, because I know that they're a lot more popular. And so I want to put in more effort to get those to be as good as possible, so that people get, when they go and watch a episode that's 52 minutes long, I want them to know that there was effort put into it. So that will be what I focus on afterwards. And Nimbus production will be the main part of my channel once the Lightning Round ends. But at the same time, I'm still interested in doing podcasts, and so I've already talked to the crew of End to End, and I will be joining End to End in June. And over the course of June, I will be phasing out the Lightning Round and becoming more of a part of End to End, and by July, End to End will be the only podcast that I'm involved in. Well, besides Fanatic Fiction, which is kind of on and off.
Yeah.
So, at this point in time, I'll probably link it in the description of this video. Check out End to End, see the kind of stuff that they do. It's a lot of it's the same as what we do here at the Lightning Round. They interview people, they talk about different things that are happening, and they stay pretty up to date with current events. So we're going to talk about the same kind of stuff in End to End, and I think it's a really good change for me to make when I'm still able to participate in a podcast, but I don't have to worry about setting up interviews or uploading it to YouTube. So that's a big change that's coming up, and I wanted to announce that on this special occasion. So as for today, although it is a celebration, we also have an interview today going on. Today, we have an interview with Anonymous Pegasus. He's the author of An Affliction of the Heart, as well as many other fan fictions. And we had a talk with him, and that'll be coming up in just a few minutes. So I think that was all that we really needed to talk about. You guys all still there?
Yeah,
I am here.
fuck me! I can't believe I died.
You didn't
Well, I
die.
mean-
You're still talking.
You gotta buy me a drink first.
No, silly.
So we're going to hit off this celebration after the interview, so let's go ahead and play that for you guys right now. So first thing up this week, we've got our interview. Today with us is Anonymous Pegasus. He's an author over on Fimfiction. Thank you for joining us today.
No worries.
So I'm going to start off by asking the question we ask everyone who comes on the show with us. What's your favorite pony and favorite episode?
I honestly couldn't tell you the favorite episode, but probably the Sonic Rainboom one, because that was the first one that made me really like ponies in the first place. If that makes sense.
Oh no, that makes sense.
I don't really differentiate between the different episodes so much. And as for the pony, that changes regularly. I remember I actually have friends that will tell me that I used to hate Pinkie Pie, and I don't remember that time. I honestly can't remember a time I didn't like her, but apparently I used to really hate her. And she was my favorite for a while, and then it was Luna or Rainbow Dash or just Derpy. One of the three.
Well, okay. So how did you become a brony? Like, what got you into the My Little Pony fandom?
My friend, basically, he annoyed me and pestered me and just was really an asshole prick about it until I sat down and watched some episodes.
Yes, that's kind of how a lot of people are. Either you're going to see it on the internet and be curious about it, or be dragged kicking and screaming into the fandom.
I was definitely kicking and screaming.
So, yeah. Delightful, love, tolerance, happiness, kicking and screaming.
So now, when it comes to the fandom, your particular place is writing for it. How did you get into writing in the first place?
Well, there wasn't really kind of hard to explain. Like I was writing furry stuff for a long time, like 4 or 5 years, and once I got interested in ponies, it was just like a natural thing to start writing about them. If that makes any sense.
No, I got you.
If it's a skill that you practice regularly, and then you find a new passion, something new that interests you, it's natural to switch on over to that. But like even before ponies started, like when did you start writing?
Oh,
Like
what did I
ever?
start writing? Oh, I was just super into reading books as a kid, and I started writing the worst freaking story you've ever seen when I was like 16. And then I sort of just matured from there.
Fun fact: I actually found a little book that I was in. I think it was like fourth grade, I think, and like the entire class, remember, got together and like wrote a little like one-page story for a book, and then they had it published and sent back to us. And I found a copy of it, and oh my god, like if you've ever seen like a 4-year-old write a story, like it is absolutely glorious.
I can imagine. The first one I've got's from I was doing an internship in one of the major cities around here, and it was at a newspaper, so I just like wrote some little kid's story, and it was put in the newspaper as a centerfold, and God did it suck.
Oh boy. So, like, instead of talking about how much you suck at writing, because I'm sure that's not the reason why you're here, what is a specific genre that you specialize in? Like, what genre do you feel most comfortable writing in?
Romance. Easily, it's definitely romance. But not the vanilla romance, always romance with something a little strange behind it.
Okay.
So why is that one specifically your favorite genre to write in?
I have no idea. It's just more interesting. It's traveling ground that really hasn't been tread on that often, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. So, how about, like, do you have a specific pair that you like to ship, or is it just kind of, like, all over the place?
It's definitely all over the place, but Celestia and Twilight's usually pretty close to like that. That'd be my main one that I usually do. I haven't done one for a while, but I'll do it again, and I'll do it again and again and again, and probably again after that too.
Mm. So now, going into your writing career as a pony writer, what was the first fanfic that you wrote?
That would be. I cannot remember the name of it, but it is on Fimfiction. It's Luna's diary from when she was on the moon.
And like, I guess how did that just suddenly be like, okay, this is the first thing I want to write about? How did you get that idea?
I saw a picture that was I wouldn't know where to find it anymore, but it was just Luna staring at Earth, sitting on the moon, and then asking aloud when she would be allowed back onto Earth or Equestria, or whatever the fuck the ponies called their worlds. And that was basically the inspiration for that, and it just grew from there.
Okay. So, what were your expectations starting off?
I honestly expected a lot of flack from my previous fans, but before I was writing ponies, and I wasn't expecting much from Fimfiction at all. And that's why I chose a completely separate, anonymous name going over onto Fimfiction. I was hiding.
It's like you literally had an anonymous name.
That is literally the source of the name. Anonymous Pegasus is because I didn't want anyone knowing who I was.
Right.
Now, eventually, you started writing like whole series, and there were like a huge amount of chapters. Why don't you tell us about Transcend and then subsequently Antecedent?
Antecedent, I think that's how it's pronounced. I've never used the word in a sentence before, but it kind of rolls off the tongue.
Also, what does that word actually mean? Like, what is the dictionary definition of that word? Because I'd like to use it in my vocabulary, but I'm not sure.
Antecedent is just another word for ancestor.
Oh.
So to be the antecedent of something is to be the progenitor of it, or whatever you want to call it, or the further down the line.
So you're the antecedent of antecedent.
You've just completely lost me.
Oh, I have that effect on people. So why don't you tell us about them, Transcend and antecedent, whatever that word is.
Or what specifically do you want to know about them?
What's the basic idea for those stories?
Well, Transcend was... I started writing that because I just... One second, my cat is chewing on my hand. Go away! I'm doing something, cat. Go away. I knew he'd start trouble. Go away. He's an asshole. He knows I'm doing something. Go away. Okay, I think he's gonna leave me alone now. Yeah, Transcend was just... I just finished watching the series finale, and I wrote the whole thing within like 2 or 3 weeks of the finale, just because I really liked Chrysalis's character. She was really different, and it was just a really interesting concept of a creature that feeds on love, and like how they would view a relationship if they saw it between themselves and a pony instead of taking the place of another pony.
Okay.
That's kind of getting back to the romance with the weird little aspect to it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So what about... Can you say the word this time, Lightning? I'm just gonna like save myself the shame and not say that word again.
Well,
Antecedent.
Either antecedent and antecedent.
I'm probably
Antidepressant.
pronouncing it way wrong. Yeah, antidepressant. That's the one.
And how does that work?
Oh, balls. I think I just dropped out of the call. Let's make sure. Yeah. But my audience dropped out of the call with me. So while we have this time to ourselves, why don't we talk about our feelings? My name is Soundspeed. I was born in a log cabin 27 years ago. I like long walks on the beach and breaking up on Skype calls. Now normally this isn't an issue. I'm totally kidding, this is an issue every time. But there's really no silver lining to it. This is pretty shitty. And so I thought to myself one day, what if I was to interview Anonymous Pegasus? Except I didn't think that to myself, because Lightning thought that to himself, and then told me that, and then we did it together. Or at least we would have done it, had we not broken up on the Skype call. I believe we are still having difficulties. It's gone. Well, dicks.
So now, can you tell us a little bit about antecedent at the same? Now that we talked about transcend, and tell us how it connects to transcend.
Granddaughter. Not daughter, granddaughter. So basically just follows her as the elements of harmony have ceased protecting her from her changeling blood. So she starts feeding off her current husband and begins to slowly kill him. And there's a whole lot more to it than that. There's like 6,000 twists and turns and.
It's like Rocky Road ice cream.
Kind
Okay.
of like that, yeah. it's like if M Night Shyamalan made Rocky Road ice cream.
M Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah, and then if some Japanese dude came and dumped every Sunday comic he ever drew directly on top of it, that is antecedent.
Well, that is a must-read. How about your Ingress series? I know how to say that word.
That completely different. That is no more than a justification for ponies and humans screwing each other. A thinly veiled justification at that.
Trust me, until you've read Hands, you have no idea what justification for human pony fucking can really go to.
I got really sick of coming across, like, Brony in Equestria. I cannot stand those because the suspension of disbelief is just not fucking there. Just
I know.
so hard. It's like, oh, this random person that watches this show suddenly gets teleported into the show, and then he screws one of them. The end.
Or more than one of them, actually.
Well, I try to stay away from them stories, so I don't really know how far they get.
Oh yeah, they go really far.
Now,
it just hurts my head.
you know, on the subject, because it's kind of a controversial thing, how'd you like get it? Why did you want to write this specifically?
What do you mean? Do you mean Ingress? I can't say it. Ingress?
Well,
Ingress?
clap in
I'm beginning to sound like I'm freaking, south of the border. But,
Maybe you should, like, rethink the names.
Ingress, I like the name Ingress because it means to enter. And that's exactly what the ponies did and what the humans do and what happens at the end of the story. And, yeah.
Okay.
But,
maybe we could think of a synonym.
No, I think I'll leave it as Ingress because all the other ones are way too suggestive. But Klopp in general is why not? I like it, other people like it, so fuck anyone who doesn't like it. I'll write it if I want to, and if everyone else enjoys it, then the more power to me and the more power to the people who are reading it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's usually what I hear from a lot of people who write it is just like, I'm gonna do whatever I want and to hell with everyone else that doesn't like it. So
yeah, I mean, like, even if I don't get it personally, like, I don't go out of my way to be like, you're not supposed to write what you want to write. You're not supposed to white what you want to white. This is Black America, and you will not white.
I went to a scary place really quickly.
I channeled my racist Elmer Fudd.
That was reverse racism.
Oh, gracious. What were we even at? Oh, yeah, I think... Hold on, is that the end of that question? I've totally lost.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now we come to your current series, which is An Affliction of the Heart, if I ever remember correctly. Yes, it is. Tell us how you came up with that idea.
I thought it would be cute. Plus, I suppose there's a lot more reasons to it than that. I just sat down and started writing. I just wanted a Royal Guard with a Changeling as a pairing, because that's a really interesting pairing to me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's definitely an interesting pairing.
If you go back and, if you've read the first one, Warden starts off as a true Royal Guard, but then you can sort of see where I decide that he's not going to be a true royal guard because that would cause too much conflict between them, if that makes any sense.
Right, yeah. I guess, you know, it becomes apparent that he's a reserve royal guard, kind of, you know, a backup, I guess you'd call it. And I think if he was an actual royal guard, he wouldn't have done what he did, which is take Kuno back to, you know, to
Yeah,
his
it
place to
would've-
kind of recover.
It would have forced them into a prisoner and captor role a lot more strongly, and I didn't really want that because not much romance there except for that.
Stockholm Syndrome.
That's the one I can never remember. Stockholm Syndrome. I remember seeing someone read the description that I put down, and he was like, "That sounds like Stockholm Syndrome, the fanfic."
And now, An Affliction of the Heart is, and I've said this to other people before. When I read it, I fell in love with it because of the dynamic of these two. And when you're writing two completely original characters, how do you give them a distinct personality and, you know, just completely make up their character on the spot?
That bell you're hearing is my cat eating my arm again. Just give me a second. Go away, cat. Go away.
I don't think your cat's very much of a clopper himself, is he?
He knows I'm doing something, so he has to come over here and chew on my arm. He's not a very nice cat. So the question was the really strong differences between them. Oh, I suppose like how they're unique or whatever, wasn't it?
Well, it's like both Warden and Kuno being original characters. As a writer, how do you just come up with these personalities and make them so distinct and dynamic?
I've never had a problem coming up with like distinct personalities for my characters. I usually start with a strong base, like Warden was a royal guard, but then I give them flaws afterwards to temper out whatever strengths they have. So like Warden, he is really not up for conflict. He's scared of conflict. He's not very sure of himself, all that sort of thing. But that's never really been a problem for me, like coming up with characters like that. I actually have much more trouble dealing with canon characters and established personalities. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I can see eye to eye on that one. Like, trying to work with what's canonized and trying to make it work and molding a character into what you want them to be for a story without breaking the mold that they're already in is a pain in the ass.
yeah, and I make canon characters go out of character. Like, it's just, I can't do it. And then I actually prefer original characters when I'm writing, but if I just write original characters, there's none of that background to build on to make something that's really that the reader can really connect with, unless I write something that's 40,000 words long, and that's kind of tiring.
And of course, as you're writing this, you know, now it's into its third volume right now, and you're starting to add in different scenes from the show. When the Crystal Empire came back, you included that, and I guess as you continue writing, and well, I mean, I don't know if you're going to finish by the time season 4 comes out or not, but do you plan on adding any more events into the story that had happened in the show?
Well, the event from the second volume at the very start, when they're at the Crystal Empire and Sombra's attacking the shield wall and all that, that was a really subtle rub that I was making against a lot of the fanfic writers that seem to want to put their characters in the show, that in the background where they're not seen. Because Warden and Kuno are both like, hey, can we help? And shining armor is just like, no, you really can't. Go away. What are you even doing? Just go sit quietly in the corner while we sort it out. That's our job. Your job is to go away. And
Whoever gets paid
I
minimum
suppose
wage
there
for
might
going
be
away.
references to other events, but like, it just depends on how the story goes. That was just convenient to me because it forced them back to the Ponyville Canalot area rather than keeping them up in the frozen waste where nothing would happen.
Well, okay. So why don't we do a complete 180 and ask a question that's not related to your story writing? Do you plan on attending any cons this summer, any conventions, Everfree? Well, I mean, I guess, do you have Australian conventions? Like, what do you have down there?
Brisbane, the nearest town... Oh, well, not town. Ugh. The nearest major city to me is Brisbane or Toowoomba. And both of those are at least a 12 to 14-hour trip on a bus. So my ability to attend conventions is non-existent. It's not going to happen.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's,
so how about
kind of how I feel. I'm actually going to be driving about 16 hours to get to a convention this summer, but it's going to be worth it, though.
I mean, I'm kind of conflicted personally because I've always used that as my excuse, but then Fiesta Equestria packed its bags and was like, hey, Soundspeed, I'm going to move in next door, what's up? And now I feel like I'm obligated to go, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm not ready for commitment, Mr. Fiesta Equestria.
Well, it's a lot to do when a year ago you were like
bitterly opposed to
My Little Pony. Yeah. So now these stories, especially with An Affliction of the Heart, that is not done yet, and I know that you're not going to stop once that is finished. What are your plans, or what do you have in store for An Affliction of the Heart, and what other new stories do you want to tell us about?
Well, I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with An Affliction of the Heart. Like, I know the end 2 chapters. I usually, before I start writing them, I usually have the final chapters in my head ready to go. But everything between the first chapter and the final chapter is completely up in the air. Which is why I haven't made an update for a while, because I have to write about Swarm going to school, and that's... Yeah, I'm not sure even how to do that. But I probably think that the 3rd volume will be the last one, unless I get too many people badgering me again.
I guess this kind of depend on how you end it, I guess.
Oh, yeah, well, I can't really say too much without giving the entire ending away. Oh.
Well, yeah, and I don't want you to either, because it's something I'm really looking forward to as well, but...
It would be mean of me.
Absolutely. So, I think that's just about all of our questions. Do you have any final thoughts or shout-outs you want to share?
No, not particularly.
Are you sure?
I guess thank you to everyone listening to my horrible voice.
Oh, your voice is beautiful. I love Australians and their voices.
Oh, thank you for getting it right. I've been called Russian, English...
Russian?
Yes, I had an American. He sounded like he was from the South. He heard my voice, my accent, he was like, hey, are y'all Russian? Like, no.
I done plumb tuckered myself. Y'all saying you're Russian?
I couldn't get over that one for a few days.
If you were Russian, you'd probably know how to pronounce antecedent.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us and talking to us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, and as a fellow Russian, I must salute you for coming out from motherland to support capitalism and happiness.
What you said.
So that was our interview with Anonymous Pegasus, a very Australian dude.
I was very quiet in that interview.
Well, you guys
It
weren't
was
there.
really hard for me to actually get all of that.
that were there.
But they don't know that.
Yeah,
They were watching.
Welcome to the world of the lightning round, where we
pre-record.
It was like days in advance. So
What are you talking about? No, silly. They obviously time traveled.
Greetings from the 23rd of May on the 27th of May.
Hot tub.
Greetings from whatever time this happens to be.
Well, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna keep on going into the main section of our podcast. Obviously, we're going to do a little bit of celebration because this is a special episode, but we will try to put in tidbits of, news, which is what this podcast is supposed to be about.
Quote
in
unquote
the first place.
News.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote news.
From quote unquote
some
professionals.
Things have happened. Not a lot of things have happened though. We'll try to add in some media as well because I know that that's one of the newer things. In fact, let's talk about that a little bit because if you guys have ever seen the first episode of Lightning Round, and I actually watched this not too long ago because I was just curious as to see what happened a year ago. The very first time I ever did a recording of the Lightning Round, it was like right after school ended, right after the year of college had ended, and I was moving in with my roommates, like on the other side of town, and so I was currently moving everything out of my apartment. And one night, I sat down in my bedroom, and I had my bed and my nightstand, and that was the only pieces of furniture in the room at the time because everything else was already like packed out. And I sat down and I recorded this because May was a very weird month for me last year, where my previous channel that I was putting episode reviews out on and stuff like that was terminated because
of copyright.
Yeah.
Dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger was there?
A whole bunch of copyright strikes against my channel because of the episode reviews I was putting out, because they had full, visual and audio of the episode as we were watching them. It was very much like a Let's Watch that we were doing, but we were also commentating on it at the very end. And that channel got terminated due to copyright strikes, and I decided that, over the summer, what I can do while there is no new episodes of Pony going on, I can do a podcast. And that was what I decided to do. And the May 27th was the first time I ever put it out an episode. We had pretty much nothing on it at the first time because I was just announcing it, really. And it was like I was saying, we're gonna have interviews. We're gonna preview media, preview like videos and songs and stuff like that, and talk about.
We're gonna do stuff.
News. Yeah, we're gonna do stuff.
We're gonna do stuff.
And
then you did stuff.
Yeah, and it was really, it was really just a shot in the dark to see if anyone was interested in watching this stuff. And as time went on,
hello. There we
go. One of the first things that I did was at the time I was very interested in the vinyl scratch tapes. Have you guys seen that?
Nope.
Love those.
The vinyl scratch tapes.
I've seen a little bit, yeah.
The vinyl scratch tapes is a fanfic reading, I guess you could call it. But the way the fanfic is written, it's supposed to be like a radio show. So what the fanfic reading did was they actually took Wolfie and Hannah Kay. They're
Hannah
the
Kay is
voice
hilarious.
actors that do Octavia and Vinyl Scratch, and they put them in this setting where it was almost like you're listening to a radio show. And it followed the fanfic where they had interviews with like Spitfire and Princess Celestia, and they had people call in and ask them questions and stuff like that, and it was really good. And so at the time, I was actually in the process of talking to Robot Butterfly, who does the voice of Spitfire for the fanfic, and I was talking to her about having an interview with these people. And after 2 episodes of the lightning round, I had asked her if she would be interested in being a co-host with me. And so the 3rd episode of the lightning round was the first time I ever had a co-host with Robot Butterfly.
She's nice.
And Robot Butterfly was able to actually get me in contact with a whole bunch of people. Really, I can't stress enough how much I have to credit her with getting this show as far as she did, because she was able to get me in contact with Midnight Magic Productions and Philly Games as
those guys.
And so all of you guys that I met, besides Soundspeed, which I just, found on when I was looking on, random videos.
Sure.
I
That
am
guy.
how babies are made.
But the rest of you I pretty much met as a result of
Father?
Philly Games.
I
Well,
met
you met me
you
through
first.
I don't know about
Teach
me,
me.
but okay.
You met me through Fanatic Fiction, actually.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is that I met Mytho and AR through Philly Games, and through AR I met BT, and that's how the whole Fanatic Fiction thing started. And I met the rest of you through Fanatic Fiction.
A shame AR couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, it's too bad. After all,
He's got
being
2
a co-host, he is my current co-host, but being how busy he is with this, with this job of his,
He's working like 16 hours a day.
Yeah, he doesn't have much time. And I understand that. So, yeah, it's not going to be until July when we actually hear from him again and have him on regularly. But actually, no, at that time, well, June, we're going to have a few episodes in June. Obviously, he's going to join us for the last 2 weeks of the lightning round, actually, and obviously he's also a co-host on End to End, which I'm joining. So it'll still be me and AR, but then added to that we have Lightning Rabbit and Duhad, which are the other 2 co-hosts of that podcast.
Duhad has like the most heterosexually like sexy voice I've ever heard.
He has quite the deep baritone.
Duhad does, yeah.
He has quite the gravitas.
It's a good voice.
Laserbug, you get off me right now.
He makes
Told
me
you to
feel
swish
all
it.
kinds of willies.
No.
So yes, I'm
Really.
very excited to be joining End to End. I think they have a lot of really good things coming up, especially interviews. I can't say what they are right now, but the interviews that are coming up on End to End are going to be really cool, and I'm really glad to be joining them.
Congratulations.
But
Yeah.
then at the same time, I'm thinking back on all the stuff we've done with the lightning round, and at first we started talking about media and like the different songs and videos that were coming out each week, and we put together show notes to have links to all this stuff. And it was kind of funny because we stopped doing them at one point in time. This was probably after Robot Butterfly left the show, because when Robot Butterfly left, she was just it was after school had started for her, and it was her senior year, and she left because she was just so unbelievably busy with other stuff, so that she couldn't join me anymore. But by that time I was so involved in Philly Games that I actually got Rashi Dash to co-host for me when she left. And Rashy Dash was my co-host for quite a few months, and it wasn't until the first episode of season 3 he was on that episode where we reviewed episode 1, as well as AR. But after that, he got so busy with Philly Game stuff that he couldn't be a co-host anymore. And I talked to AR about it, and he said that he would be willing to join me as my official co-host. So
Hooray for AR.
Over the course of a year, we've had 3 different co-hosts on the lightning round, and it's been kind of a wild ride.
Well, with AR, it's always a wild ride.
Mm.
Well, yeah, anyone who's seen my podcast, since AR has been a co-host, you know how off topic we can get, and the
nope, but I certainly can imagine
that we can go into.
Hour-long video is only 20 minutes of actual topic.
AR has the attention span of a Yorkshire Terrier.
We try to cover news, and then he goes off.
We try,
sister falling off of overpasses and stuff like that. And
okay,
we talked about that.
Funny, by the way.
A half hour.
Didn't that happen twice?
Yeah, 1 year of shitting on AR. How much fun is that?
A little bit less.
But no, AR is a really great co-host whenever he's available. Right now, of course, he's not, and it's too bad.
Which means he's awful.
It's too bad that he can't make it to this because it is kind of a special episode, and he's a big part of it.
We love you, AR.
I can't.
This is a year for your first episode, but his first episode is a few episodes off. So if we can celebrate again for AR's for 1 year
anniversary.
Well, remember, I'm only going to be doing this for about another month here.
Month anniversary.
So he's not going to get his 1 year anniversary of being on the lightning round because that's going to be way in the future, and that's not going to happen.
Wow, Lightning, you're such a jerk.
Well, it's not my fault. It's just
it's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I'd give it to him if it was possible, but it's just not going to be possible. I can't tell you how thankful I am to Robot Butterfly and Rashy Dash and AR for being my co-host, because I couldn't do this alone.
I'm going to start my own lightning round with blackjack and hookers.
You know what? Forget the
blackjack.
Forget the lightning
round. What are you talking about? Blackjack's awesome.
I know, right?
But anyway.
Lightning round episode 2, The Force Unleashed.
Oh, God.
No.
The Mytho Unleashed.
No.
This episode, this podcast would not have gotten as far as it did if I didn't have co-hosts, because people love to hear the interactions and stuff like that, and they like to hear more than one point of view. So I have a co-host to kind of be on and be the person that disagrees with me or wants to.
That's why we have BT.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, because of his internet, he's only been online on weekends, and being that we're doing this on a Thursday, he's not able to join us tonight. And I do thank BT for being on a couple of episodes of the Lightning Round with me as well, because he does have a differing point of view on most of the stuff as opposed to me. And so
my creaky chair was probably the best co-host.
Oh yeah, the creaky chair was just awesome.
I think for a second I thought there was actually a person out there named Creaky Chair, and I was just like, that's a dumb name.
Hold on, let me Google this.
No, it'd be my creaky chair. Yeah.
My OTP is, what was his name? Clint Eastwood and Creaky Chair.
I really had to ask whether or not it was an...
The lightning round itself has really evolved. For those of you that have watched it since the beginning, we've had 4 or 5 different title cards. Just because when Robot Butterfly we introduced her. There was a new title card. We had a new title card when Rashy Dash joined us. We had a new title card when AR joined us, and it's really, it's really cool to see these different artists. Mytho, I know you did a whole bunch of work for us.
Oh yeah, I art stuff.
We also,
Uh-huh.
when I was in Arizona, I also talked to one of the people from the Arizona's Phoenix Brony meetup group.
Yeah.
There was a girl there that I talked to, and she was nice enough to do a title card for the lightning round with me and Rashy Dash. And before that was Robot Butterfly actually just wrote up her own title card when she joined me.
That was a cool one.
Drew it up, and that was pretty cool as well. And I'm really glad that we were able to get all these different artists to do art for us, because I know that that's another big part of the community, which, after a while, I always wanted to have songs at the end. Like, I always play a song to finish off the podcast. It's usually one of the more recent ones. Sometimes I go farther into the past because it's one that I haven't covered yet that's really good. And that was how it ended for a long time. And then after that, I got into putting art at the end of the podcast as well, because art is such a big part of this fandom where, you've got different animations and stuff like that, but the art is really, really big. And there's a lot of artists in the fandom, and so I wanted to make sure that they got a part in my podcast so that I could highlight the different works that they do. And so at the end of the podcast every single week, I put up 10 different pictures from different draw friends and stuff like that they have on EQD, of some of the best art that I've seen.
You should put German Sparkle Party at the end of this one.
German Sparkle Party? I don't.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
the hell does everyone
yeah.
talk about Sparkle Party? It's not like even interesting. Or, it's just like uncomfortable.
I don't even know what that is. Actually,
Yeah, I'm not heard of it.
Hardcore German Sparkle Party, Sparkle Party, Sparkle Party.
To
Weird song.
Google.
Yes, to Google.
No, I think I'm gonna let
I
Google
may
alone
very
this
well
one.
put that up, but I mean, and here's the thing: is that Mytho, I'm really impressed with your artwork, and if I remember to put this up, I might put this up when I say this. But anyway, there was a picture that Mytho recently posted up, and if you watched my Double Rain Boom video that I posted, I know it was pretty popular, but
I was in that too.
Yeah, I was fairly drunk for that.
Fairly?
That was so
For
entertaining.
that review.
And thus Antoinette was born.
And thus Antoinette was born. Mytho was kind enough to actually post
Raw.
a picture of me, if I was a female, and it's pretty hot. Just putting that out there.
Ninja Cupcake also came
you
from
have
that,
now
I
just
believe.
recorded yourself saying that you are attracted to yourself. Congratulations, you narcissistic bastard.
Yay for
I
homosexuality.
But I would do me. I'm sorry.
Wouldn't we all?
Well, at least Rarity and Fluttershy would. Surefire, you should know that. You're elusive.
What?
What?
He is quite aloof.
This took an interesting turn.
Anyway.
I'm very
Who think
confused.
they are?
What's going on?
I don't know.
I'm fairly drunk tonight as it is anyway, so.
Not
Oh.
yet. Yeah,
Woo!
you're not quite
Would you have a drunken one?
I'm not quite Antoinette yet, but apparently the female version of Lightning is called Antoinette.
I don't get that.
Well, that's
Antoinette?
apparently what happened during the
Bubbles called Rainbow Dash Antoinette.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marie Antoinette. Let them have cake.
Which, I mean, I'm not like,
Oh, I want cake.
I don't know.
I don't.
It happens. But anyway, it's a really good picture. I applaud the Mytho for putting that out, because that is pretty cool.
Thanks.
Hello,
Didn't you try to count to purple while you were drunk as well?
What?
Yes, you did. It was
That's
funny.
also on my list. Don't know
What?
how to visualize that though.
Your list of things you shouldn't draw but should. because you
Yeah,
want it for the
it's more just a
purpose.
list of randomness.
That's when that
Always
drunk
a
trying to
list of
count to
things you
purple.
shouldn't draw.
What
that
else is on?
sometimes you do.
And
What else is on that list?
Ninja Cupcake.
Ninja cupcakes. Now I've seen Flufflepuff as a ninja.
I have
So
concept art for Ninja
there is
Cupcake.
that. I don't think I've ever seen a muffin as a.
You clearly said a cupcake, good sir.
There should
Every-
be Derpy. Derpy should be in that somehow. Do you ever consider drawing comics?
I actually just put out a comic.
Really?
Uh-huh. I'll link you. Let me get off my bed and get to the computer. Because I have a wireless headset now and it's freaking amazing.
Awesome.
Get off my
But yes,
computer.
Because
Lucky.
I mean, Equestria Daily is really good about putting up really good comics. If you submit your stuff to EQD, you'll probably get a bunch of views.
I bet I could.
I know that when
knew how
I
to submit
post my
stuff to EQD.
podcasts on EQD, they get fairly, they get fairly good views. I mean, my newest episode that was just out had about 32 views when it got put on EQD. Now it has 112. So,
Cool.
so that's what happens when you put something on EQD.
Yeah, I don't know how to submit things to EQD.
Well, you send them to submit at eqd.com.
Ah.
It's really not.
Sophisto@gmail.com. Please read my fanfiction.
She lives on Thunder Lane.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, that was just an unfortunate name, Thunderlane.
The shipping between those two is actually called Thunderplane.
Thunderplane?
I like
What?
What?
Thunderplane. I don't know why. It's just called that.
I didn't know there was a shipping between Derpy.
I didn't know that either.
Also,
Where
this
is
got-
this on the shipping pie chart?
This got posted on Derpy Boru. I don't know. That's a thread site, right? Or something?
Well, that used to be. God, what was that? I can't even remember what that used to be called. But yeah, Derpy Bureau is a new thing because the original site got canceled or something.
Yeah, one of my friends showed me. It got the picture of Derpy and Thunderlane, which is a separate vector. Got posted also. Somebody uploaded it to Facebook, and it got like 50 likes.
I mean, because I've seen Thunderlane shipped with Flitter and Cloud Chaser a lot,
Yeah.
but not necessarily with anyone else. Maybe Rainbow Dash, but I mean, everyone ships Rainbow Dash with
Derpy
everyone.
has a small house on Thunderlane. It's in his mohawk.
So, I guess
Sunderland is the alias.
for those of you that are a pretty much new participant in watching the lightning round and stuff like that, when it got to the point where me and AR were doing this stuff and we were talking about animation and stuff like that, I talked to him about actually getting these animations in order to put them up on my podcast, because we were talking about them, but I didn't have a way myself to actually record them and show them. And I talked to AR about it, and because he uses Camtasia, he was able to record the animations. And so very recently we've been showing the animations after we talk about them, or we show the animation and then we talk about them, and I'm very happy with the way the lightning round has turned out, so that now we can actually show you these media things before we actually talk about them, which is just another part of the podcast that's evolved over the course of time. Now, when Robot Butterfly was still my co-host, there were two things that came out. Balloon Party and then Balloon Party After Party came out last summer. And if I'm not mistaken, in June, another Balloon Party is slated to come out. And I'm very happy about that, because Balloon Party was really Well, it was really good. Did you guys see any of Balloon Party?
I
Nope.
didn't like most of it, but there were some really good ones on there.
Balloon Party was a compilation of different. A lot of it was dubstep. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of it was dubstep,
Wubba dub step.
but there was
Big guy.
but there was some rock, and there was a couple of other songs that rap and stuff like that made it on there as well. It was a really good look at the artists, the different artists that are in the community, because there was like 75 tracks or something like that, and there was maybe one or two songs that each artist has. So you're looking at like 50 different artists, and it's a really good chance to check out what the fandom has to offer. And I'm really glad that there's another Balloon Party coming out this summer. If that happens in June, we are going to do a top 5 songs of that Balloon Party when it comes out, because we did that for the other 2 albums that have come out in the past. So hopefully that'll come out in June, and if it does, we will do a top 5 songs from that Balloon Party album.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about the lightning round enough. Like I said, I do want to talk about some of the news that has happened this last week. There's not too much to talk about, but it's really funny because Amazon is posting some really weird shit. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
It's saying that there's a Blu-ray that's slated to come out on August 6th, but apparently it has an R rating, which, I mean, Equestria Girls is not going to have an R rating.
What has an R rating? I'm sorry?
This DVD it's a Blu-ray that's supposed to come out on Amazon.
Of what?
It comes out on August 6th, and according to what we've heard, it has the same runtime as Equestria Girls. So we're expecting it to be an Equestria Girls DVD that's coming out on August 6th.
But it has an R rating?
But apparently it has an R rating, which I don't see Equestria Girls being an R rating thing.
Those devious
did you see that trailer?
They fooled us all into thinking
Don't worry,
it's some little girl's show.
We will talk about. We will definitely talk about.
I like
the guys. Come on, don't let me
have my fun.
And
whoa, Sons of Shimmer, what are you doing?
Oh God! I freaking sneezed
Shake
on
it.
my arm. Oh.
Work it. Work your body.
So, we don't exactly know what this Blu-ray is that's coming out on Amazon. We expect it to be
The Nazi imagery was a bit unexpected. What?
Wait,
There's
what?
Nazi imagery?
What?
Where?
I'm reading a review on the thing on Amazon. My Little Pony Falls, the epic MLP movie that the Brony fanbase has been waiting years for. Admittedly, this movie is probably not one to show the children due to the R rating. The Nazi imagery was a bit unexpected, although I think the filmmakers were trying to make a point about how even a land as magical as Equestria must remain vigilant for corruption.
Hold
10
on.
out of 10.
No,
What the hell?
10 out of 10.
I'm
What
very
is your
skeptical
literal
about this.
fuck?
10 out of
I'm
10.
pretty sure there's no Nazi imagery. I mean, you got to think Hasbro would be a little bit more careful than that.
R rating 10 out of 10.
I don't know. I mean,
at its core, Hasbro is still marketing this to the same people they're marketing Friendship is Magic. So they're still marketing towards, young girls.
What is this?
Little known fact about Hasbro, they started as a brand in 1947, and no one knows this, but Hasbro and Hitler both start with H. And so Hasbro is actually a hidden Nazi agenda that has spread internationally and is now releasing propaganda.
I'd always expected the alphabet being Nazis, but I never actually believed it until now.
I'm pretty sure that
The alphabet is conspiring against us.
Made.
Take it out.
The
Bill
alphabet
Gates.
is filling the inspiring.
Game over. The Nazi imagery is not enough.
Hasbro is fulfilling the Nazi imperium by its ponies. It's amazing.
Have you seen the Brony fan base? Watch them march. Next time they're at a con, they're going to be like, Sig Heil!
I know I am.
Oh,
Hail Celestia?
we're gonna
What?
do that at Fiesta Equestria.
No.
We're gonna go conquest Mexico.
What?
Oh man. We're just gonna take over Houston.
If this is real, I'm actually
Houston will be
excited
like
for this.
Germany.
Lightning, I hate to tell you this, but we have like, let me see here. Oh yeah, 6 people against Houston.
Well, we will dominate Houston with 6 people.
It can be done.
Hitler did it.
Yeah, all you just have to be like
All
phenomenal.
he had was
Yeah,
hope and a
all,
mustache.
Like 800,000
Did you guys
of
take-
them.
And
like, public
he had hope a
speaking
mustache
classes.
in all of Germany.
Please tell me you've taken public speaking classes.
He had a nice automobile.
Who did? Oh, Hitler?
Hitler.
Yeah, he also had
He
some
made
nice
the
art.
Volkswagen.
If you've taken public speaking classes, we can do it.
Yes, but no, thank you.
You have to
Okay.
have LSD, you can do anything.
No,
So
you can't.
we are going to
Really?
keep our tradition of putting up different animations. Recently, there was a person that put out a video about how Spike is awesome and Spike is one of the most ambitious characters on the show. We're going to play that for you right now, and we'll talk about it after you're done watching it, because it's about 7 minutes long.
Are you stupid?
No, you fucking power bottom! Spike is nothing more than Twilight's PDA.
PDA? That's not even close to relevant. That's a terrible
Wrong again, Astard. PDA stands for Personal Dragon Assistant, with emphasis on the ass. Spike's an ass. Dylan.
No. Spike is an awesome character with a lot of room to grow.
Not growing his dick, cause he's got a small dick, cause he's a baby. Man, fuck Spike.
Dan, just listen to me. And by the end of this conversation, if you don't agree with me, I'll let you have my... I'll let you have my Go Say Morpher.
You wouldn't risk your Go-Say Morpher.
Watch me. Spike is a fun side character. We get to see that he has hopes and dreams, and they're just very lofty and real. He has aspirations just outside of each episode. We get to see that he wants to be a knight when he grows up.
That's it. I'm done. Give me the Go-Say Morpher.
What? No.
Yes.
No, you have it. I just started.
Yeah, I know. And you open up with that. Everyone knows that Spike wants to be a hero just to get in that Slut Rarity's pants.
Dan, that is
No.
not the case.
That is the case.
That is not the case, and if you sit down, listen to me, and
Get
shut
at
the fuck up,
Get at me.
you know what? Sit down, listen to me, or I'm not even giving you a shot at this thing. Spike, like most children, have character models he's basing his life around. Spike, not having any real dragon parents, doesn't know what it means to be a real dragon, and he doesn't really have any kind of books to learn from either, since we know that dragons apparently are hard to study. But Spike did grow up around a castle with princes and princesses and the Canterlot Royal Guard, and on top of that, the whole world of Equestria is more high fantasy than anything else, so it does stand to reason that Spike's heroes would be knights and other things of the like.
Well, hang on, Mr. Dillbody! Why is Spike Twilight's assistant and messenger? Why didn't he just join the Royal Guard then?
Good observation, Daniel. Well, it's most likely because he was made Twilight's personal assistant by Celestia. But there's also the idea that back during the medieval era, where the knight formula that we see in most modern fiction is based, to become a knight you started out as a page. It was a page's job to be a glorified assistant, and their biggest asset was to send and deliver messages. And over time, a young page would work their way up a ladder to becoming a full-fledged knight.
Wow, gee, I never knew! Okay, that's it. I'm done with this bit. Fuck off, Dill.
We see this framing for Spike so much throughout the show that it's not just a simple one-off joke about how Spike wants to be buff and save Rarity, like how we see him in Diamond Dogs. If that were the case, it would really only come up once, maybe twice, and only around Rarity, if at all. Spike's whole unspoken dream of being a knight is best expressed in Spike at Your Service. This is the episode we get to see Spike show off his newly founded Spike the Dragon Code. This is easily his variant on a personal knight's code of chivalry.
Hold up, Dill. Now, what makes this newly founded? I think you're starting to talk out your ass a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, this one's a bit more speculative, but still, in Season 2, Spike was faced with what it meant to be a dragon in the classical sense. Not only experiencing the classical dragon hoarder mentality, then it going out of control in Secret with My Excess, there was also the episode in which he goes to find out what it means to be a dragon from other dragons in the Dragon Quest. Spike got to see his possible futures of what it meant to be a dragon in the classical sense, and he didn't like either of them. This whole letter in Dragon Quest says that.
Dear Princess Celestia, seeing the Great Dragon Migration made me wonder what it meant to be a dragon. But now I realize that who I am is not the same as what I am. I may have been born a dragon, but Equestria and my pony friends have taught me how to be kind, loyal, and true. I'm proud to call Ponyville my home, and to have my pony friends as my family. Yours truly.
Okay, those are all valid points, and I can kind of see where you're coming from here. However, Spike is no great knight. And just for sidekicks, all Spike does is lie to Twilight, his knight that he's paged to, and all of her friends. He takes their pets and the rewards that they come with and just dumps it on the CMC. Like, what the fuck? They're children. He takes his reward, shirks his responsibility completely, and that's about as far from knighthood as you can get.
My point is, Dan, that sometime after the events of Season 2, Spike decided that he wanted to be more than just a dragon. He wanted to be better than all of that. Case in point, how he sees himself in Diamond Dogs. Strong, buff, chivalrous, and all around knightly. And just for sidekicks, I'm not saying that Spike wasn't acting a bit out of character, but we have to keep remembering that he is still a baby dragon. He has a long road ahead of him before he can become what he wants to be. He's going to make mistakes, and sometimes his dragon tendencies are going to get the better of him. But that doesn't mean he stops working towards what he wants to become. At the end of the episode, even he realizes how he had been acting, and he takes responsibility for it and takes care of the pets. All this culminates to allowing Spike to become who he wants to be, Spike, the dragon. But more importantly, Spike the Knight.
Yeah, Dill, okay.
Yeah, and what else is really cool in Spike at Your Service, there's this little minstrel bit, it's very high fantasy that you can hear. Awesome. Yeah, and in that same episode, when he actually has, he faces down the dragon, he's the dragon being the knight, and the wolf's the dragon, and the hick is the princess, because Applejack's a hick. Spike also is the only one that rides any of the horses like mounts, actually.
Fucking settle down, okay?
Sorry, I got into a thing.
You did.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. But you know what? I'll give you that. Spike is probably a better character as far as depth goes than I gave him credit for, but he's still a puss.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Bravo.
You guys are faggots.
So that was the Spike's tale. And to be honest, Spike, I'm not a huge fan of Spike. I did kind of like Spike at Your Service, but when it comes to Spike as a character, I'm not a huge fan of Spike episodes. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't care.
I don't really care either one way or another.
I think that episodes are better spent on characters that aren't flat and obnoxious, but that's just me.
Oh,
needs more
strong words.
Always needs more Rainbow Dash.
Maybe the problem is that we don't know too much about Spike. Maybe he needs a little bit more development in order for him to be interesting.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
I wouldn't mind him growing up a little bit. I mean, he's constantly being referred to as the baby dragon. Why is he gonna be a baby?
Well, I mean, maybe Well, you saw Secret of My Excess.
Yeah, we saw him grow up a bit, and then he was cool at that point. I mean, he doesn't have to get that big.
He was
but
cool
Twilight
at that
can't
point.
enslave that which is bigger than her.
I mean, he could get, like the first growth spurt when he was a little bit bigger. That would be okay with me.
I
Also,
guess I could see the point where maybe his fourth season he's a little bit more grown up, but at the same time,
I mean,
Kathy Westlock as a voice actor is making him more and more mature. Have you guys seen the first episode of My Little Pony recently? He sounds a lot different now than he did back then.
Puberty,
Don't
man.
say.
I mean, fix everyone. He's
You're
becoming a man dragon.
Well, to be
man.
perfectly fair, everybody sounds completely different.
Well, yeah, and it's the actresses, growing
Settling
into their roles, and Spike, as a character, has changed a lot since the very first episode. Although he hasn't grown up visually,
which I think he deserves to.
Well, no one grew up visually for the most part.
Well, yeah. Well,
except for Twilight,
the ponies,
she grew
for
some
example,
fangs.
Twilight, that's
we
different.
kind of expect them to be already fully grown as it is, which is kind of weird. I was really thinking about this earlier today, and I don't know why it popped in my head, but I was thinking about Applejack and Apple Bloom, and I was thinking if they're sisters, there is no reason that Applejack could be any older than maybe double Apple Bloom's age, which if she's anywhere between 8 and 10, that would put Applejack between the ages of 16 and 20.
I like to think of her as 18.
18? And it really makes you think, are they fully grown by the point they're 18? Most people are, humans. Most humans are pretty much, all grown up by the time they're 18.
Oh, that was an awful show.
Yeah, well, also look at like the obviously adult ponies. They don't look any different, except maybe more hair on their head.
Big Mac is pretty much when we see him, he's pretty much considered.
Big Mac is a special case. He's a plow horse. He was bred for bigness.
Wow.
What about Cheerly?
If you know what I mean.
Cheerly's pretty much undoubtedly an adult.
Well, yeah, Shirley must be, an adult as well.
She grew up in the pony 60s.
We've already talked about this before, and she was in the same class as Rarity.
The pony 80s.
So wouldn't that lead to the creed that they're all fully grown?
Well, I mean, she could be the same age as Rarity. I mean, teachers do have to display a different level of maturity, so...
She also could have been held back.
That would be
she gets held back.
She was held back for a few years, where she learned the respect of the teacher and worked her life to become the next teacher, as good as the one who inspired her to get out of the
thug life.
Like
the thug
to
life chose her.
overthrow the school hierarchy and become the new queen of the teacher land.
The thug life chose her.
That works too.
That works.
We're talking about her special talent. Her cutie mark is 3 flowers smiling. It's not necessarily the teacher was her special talent, but she probably did like it.
Pedophile?
I'm thinking that she was inspired by her teacher because she was held back so many years, and then she became the teacher to follow in the footsteps of that which sure inspired her.
Well,
which is why she was in the same class but was older.
It's funny because I've seen fanfics about this before, and she talks about it in class, saying, her cutie mark represents, her students and her
the joy she gets from her students.
Hope to see them bloom.
She's a changeling. She feeds off.
But what I'm thinking about is that there's a fanfic that I read recently that was Rarity was thinking to herself, and she was thinking, maybe her special talent was being a florist, but it wasn't what made her happy.
What the heck was her? Shirley's talent is florist. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Because florists love rocks.
That's why I was confused. Like, how on earth is Rarity's
love diamonds?
That rock.
Well, if you look at it from a certain angle, if in the right light, if you close one eye, they kind of look like flowers.
You forgot you have to squint.
After spinning around 30 times.
If you close both eyes, it pretty much looks like nothing.
I wonder if there's like a connection between all the ponies that have like a 3 of something cutie mark. Fluttershy,
Well, not
Cheerily.
necessarily.
Applejack.
Yeah,
I mean,
Applejack.
yes, but
3 of
you
something.
can see Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Fluttershy, Cheerily. They all have 3 of something. But then you have like Rainbow Dash and Twilight.
Is there a connection though? Is there a connection?
Well, I don't know if there's a connection or not. They just needed something to fill the entire flank.
Yeah, sure. They could just had a big butterfly.
Well, why not just a big apple? I mean, like, Big Mac literally just has a big apple.
Big apple, yes.
For variety, I'm just gonna say there's no connection. It's you're all just reading way too much
Apple
into
Bloom
this.
should just be covered with apples. That's the thing.
Did you
Apples
know
everywhere.
that all of the points on the stars in Twilight Sparkle's cutie mark
Represent
add up
the
to
main
42,
6.
and that My Little Pony aired on October 10th, 2010, which is 10-10-10, which is 42 in binary.
Are you trying to tell me that My Little Pony is secretly meaning your life?
There's a lot of references to 42 when you're talking about Twilight Sparkle. She was number 2 in the Run Into the Leaves.
No, she was
if you
42.
Count out all the, if you count out all the points in her cutie mark, it'll equal 42. There's a lot of those references. I don't know if they're on purpose. I don't know if they're just coincidence.
It's the Illuminati.
But yes,
the
I think you guys are reading too much into this.
I think you mean the Illuminati.
Illuminati.
That works too.
No.
The Illumiariachi.
the Illuminati.
The Mexican Illuminati.
That's a fanfic that I would like to read about.
The Illuminati.
What?
The Illuminati.
I thought it was.
Well,
I thought he said
I'll write that one after I write my
I was like the Mexican
fascist
Illuminati is the
dictatorship
Illuminati.
Equestria.
Well, yeah, weren't you talking about something with Mitt Romney?
What?
Mitt Romney.
What?
Wait, how does Mitt Romney fit into this?
I don't know.
Sound speed.
Yeah.
Tell him about your idea with Mitt Romney.
This I gotta hear.
Ron Paul.
I've always wanted to make a fan fiction in which Mitt Romney, like shortly after he loses the 2012 election, he goes home really dejected, and there's like an overarching plot in which Celestia takes him to Equestria, and then Mitt Romney starts to bring Republican reform to the Equestrian government, eventually overthrowing Celestia as the ultimate ruler of Equestria before being sent back to subsequently win the 2016 election.
I have one thing to say about that. Ron Paul is best background pony.
It's happening.
Ron Paul. Oh my God. As a Democrat, I absolutely hate Paul.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking
but that's just me.
Background pony.
Ron politics.
I like.
Can we not talk about politics now, please?
He was the only one who didn't seem crazy, or at least his craziness seemed like something that he could make work.
I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is that I like them all for different reasons. Namely, I like Mitt Romney because he's just kind of got this universal appeal where, like, if you're a Republican, you like Mitt Romney because he's a Republican, but if you're not a Republican, you like Mitt Romney because he kind of reminds you of that clumsy rich kid who's really out of touch with reality. He's just kind of got like this universal appeal that would make him a really good protagonist.
Let's just all agree Donald Trump really was the best candidate.
Absolutely.
Donald Trump. I mean,
I wish he would have ran.
He would have sold us to China. I mean,
no, seriously. Donald Trump ends up as president. He brings his cabinet into a meeting and just says, "You're fired."
They sold us
him and his toupee.
Would he make his toupee the vice president? I think you wonder.
No,
I don't know.
Maybe.
He would pay Obama to give him his birth certificate.
Snooki is vice president.
No.
Clint Eastwood for president, and the chair he was talking to in the primary was the vice president.
I was this close.
I'm sorry,
to
Chuck
spitting
Norris.
out my Coke
Chuck
that was
Norris,
inside of my
president
mouth.
all the way.
Oh God, no.
Chuck Norris is president.
No. Chuck Norris for Secretary of Defense.
Chuck Norris actually has a lot of really bad political views. If you've ever followed him.
I'm not. I seriously don't know any of these people's political views.
And no, like Chuck Norris is fucking stupid.
Like,
he actively acts towards politics the same way that Sarah Palin did.
Oh,
with a gun and stupidity.
He does it just about as well as Sarah Palin did, I think. So.
Sarah Palin is the politics as Chuck Norris is the politics.
So the lightning round, you know?
Yes!
That one episode of the lightning round. We should have Ron Paul come on.
Just cut out all that politics.
I would, if you get Ron Paul for the lightning round, you You get me in this.
So I win the internet if I get Ron Paul for an interview.
Yes.
Even though he has nothing to do with ponies.
Ron Palsy.
I hope
You don't know that.
His last name starts with a P, just like Ponies does.
Oh my god.
In there.
It's just all so clear now.
Cerebral
my
Ron Palsy.
little Romney, my little Romney.
Oh god.
Obama.
My little politics. I used to want.
Oh
You
my
used to
god.
want what fascism could be, my little Romney, until you shared your political views
Shared
with me.
your Obama with me.
Capitalism, tons
So
of
let's
money.
actually go into some real news.
Communism, that's really
What's
dumb.
that? Antoinette's pregnant.
Lots of tanks and a massive air force.
That's not going to happen.
Bed. I want to go to bed.
So here's the another thing that
Remember back then when
about-
we said we were going to be done in 10 minutes?
Serial Velocity.
Like
Serial
45
Velocity,
minutes ago.
has recently come out with a complete article on why Rarity is secretly Princess Cadence. 5 reasons why Rarity is secretly Princess Cadence. And I'm
none
not
of them
going to
make
read the
sense.
entire thing because it would take way too long. But
They don't make
I
sense.
think it's just kind of utter crap.
They were never in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were.
Who do you?
She braided
Rarity
her
did
hair.
her hair.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
That was obviously a changeling.
She made a hammock out of her hair and then went to sleep in it.
That would explain.
That could
If
work
she was
because
a
they're
changeling,
both
that would
chrysalis.
explain why she barely got any season 3 time.
Rarity is
no,
secretly Luna.
Who's Princess Cadence?
Think about Magic Duel, how like they had the little like minor tweaks and they were able to make like female like Big Macintosh and like all this other shit. And like, I mean, if they really wanted to, they could probably get a pony and be like, I want you to look like Rarity, and then they could pass as a pretty good Rarity.
Don't you get it? Rarity was obviously Pinkie Pie.
Rarity is Luna.
Rarity is
What?
Rarity is every pony.
Everyone is
And
Rarity.
Chrysalis
My little
is
Rarity. I used to wonder what generosity could be.
I kind of
So,
want to see what the
Till you
one-star
shared all
review
your
was.
crystals with me.
as I am going to be,
Oh, so there's a somber too.
since I'm going to be, pretty much sponsoring Fiesta Equestria because we're going to be going there, I will mention that Michelle Krieber has now been announced for Fiesta Equestria as well.
God damn it.
High five her in my name.
Michelle Krieber, if you haven't seen her, I watched the concert that she did with Manda Pony at Everfree Northwest last year. And it was one of the coolest things I ever saw. So, she's definitely worth seeing if you haven't ever seen her actually do a concert at a Brony convention. That's definitely one to check out.
Some pretty fun stuff going on up in there.
Remember, Houston, Texas, June 28th through the 30th. It's going to be interesting.
Bring your guns.
I may or may not be there.
No,
with
don't
a
bring
big
them. Just
old-
buy new ones.
Hey
You're
Ocean
in
is going to be
Texas.
there, by the way. So, I
I
mean,
brought a special gun.
if you
just
haven't
for
seen
the
Hey
occasion.
Ocean either, that's the one that Ashley Ball is the lead singer of. For those of you that are under a rock and don't know, that's
She's
the
they're gonna
voice
be there.
of
I'm
Rainbow
under a
Dash
Tom.
and Rainbow Dash and Applejack.
They're
My
gonna be
name-
there.
have y'all
My name is
for
Patrick.
life.
Of course I live under a rock.
So yeah, Hey Ocean is going to be there.
Nice.
Are they
Um,
going to be
I
selling
know,
you guns?
right? Isn't that awesome?
So that is going to be awesome. I actually went to one of their concerts when they were up in Winnipeg, but
Canada's a nice place.
yay Canada!
You don't say.
Oh, Canada.
We've got it on
Canada
recording.
is my favorite
Lightning likes
state.
Canada. We've got it in recording. M-dubs.
What M-Dubs?
M-dubs.
M-Dubs is not real.
M-dubs.
Yes, he is.
Real as I make him.
Across the internet from us right now.
Right. Anyway, for those of you that have been keeping up with EQD, the newest nightly roundup that has just come out was number 666, and they actually did do something pretty cool with this. They messed with the font as well, to make it just seem really creepy. And also, if you actually clicked on it and went into the nightly roundup, there was some weird ambient music and just really creepy stuff that went on while you were reading the nightly roundup. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. My episode of the Lightning Round is also in there. My previous episode is in there, if that matters at all. But
Also, one cool thing about that nightly roundup is that if you go to the image that has that itself and you click open image in new tab, it opens up a creepy image of Pinkamena.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really creepy, actually.
Yeah, go ahead and do it right now.
Do what?
So
you
if
know
you
the
click
image
on-
of Carrot Top and the devil costume? If you right-click that image and you click open image in new tab, it opens up a picture of Pinkamena staring at you.
Oh yeah, that is
don't
pretty
like that.
fucking creepy. Holy
I don't
shit!
Oh, it's fucking like midnight. Don't be doing this shit.
Well now, okay, one thing that I've done recently on my channel, and it was kind of for the lightning round, but it wasn't, it kind of wasn't at the same time. I did a playthrough of Luna Game. Have you guys ever seen Luna Game?
I watched a playthrough
I
of
saw
it.
you playing it.
Oh my god.
I did it.
It was kind of ridiculous just how creepy that game was. And Pinkamena is a big part of that, obviously, because of her Party of One episode. Everyone makes creepy images of her. There's a lot of different images in that, and Luna Game itself is actually a pretty creepy game if you play through the entire thing. There was a couple times that definitely scared me, jump scare type things, but yeah. If you haven't seen that, that's on my channel. It's pretty fucking creepy.
Hey, Lightning. I'm standing right behind you.
Who?
No, I don't think so. I can see behind me, and there's nothing there, except for a bunch of boxes. There's a bunch of boxes behind me.
Hey, Lightning.
Don't worry, Spitfire will tell you if anything shows up.
Spitfire is always by me. So
guard her well. She will not be safe in the Fiesta Equestria.
Spitfire is unraveling.
She will be safe in Fiesta Equestria. I guarantee you.
Because if you touch her, you will die.
Yes. You will
Just pull
die.
one thread and it will start to unravel.
Anyway, so which Friendship is Magic villain would you like to be a minion for?
Chrysalis.
Anything that makes me want to go
That was
to sleep.
easy.
Shit, what the fuck?
Well,
they're changelings.
Looks like everyone wants to be a changeling.
Everything
Obviously,
lives
Discord.
for the swarm.
My god, people.
Discord would turn you into cotton candy, Somber would enslave you, Nightmare Moon would kill you when she makes Eternal Night. There go, Chrysalis!
She's got all those holes, though.
I don't care.
Imagine what
That's
you could
fucking
use those
discrimination.
Oh, I have.
It's like, imagine what you could do with those holes. Well,
I have. And other people have
we
too,
just
believe
finished
it or
an
not.
Affliction of the Heart. God.
yeah, I think an Affliction of Heart gives
Yes,
you
it was
a good
explored.
idea of what you could do with those holes. At the same time, you could probably think of some creative stuff that I'm not going to go into on a podcast that's supposed to be PG rated.
It is?
Yes, I can hold all my cotton candy in there. Sweet.
Which Discord
you
would
could-
make out of his minions.
I can use it as a hot dog storage.
Like she literally could hold drinks without having to use a cup holder.
Yes,
She is a cup holder.
that's
She
what
has
they do.
cup holders.
there's a picture of Kuno holding a lemonade. As but I'll put that up if I ever remember to do this or if I can find that picture.
Oh, don't worry, we'll harass
Using
you.
one of her holes in her arms to hold a lemonade, and it's fucking adorable because Kuno is just amazing. But
Yes.
I still really need to read that.
you do need to read
You
that.
really, really do.
Let's wrap this up. Start
Right.
To wrapping up.
27 minutes later.
For those of you
Podcast
that
wrap up,
are
podcast
unaware,
wrap up.
Mytho is an hour ahead of me, so for him it is 1 a.m. in the morning.
It is 12, and I'm not an hour ahead of you.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
I'm an
I've
hour
just
ahead of you. It's one for me.
You've
Mytho,
been
tired.
lying to us the whole time.
Mytho, you should be Eastern. Aren't you Eastern?
I'm central.
Nope. He's
How are you-
just
how the
he's
hell
on
are
the
you
edge of Central.
Central? You're
I'm
in
in
Florida.
Eastern.
You're
I'm
in
on
Florida.
the tippy tip of Florida. Everybody
There's
asks
that little sliver of the panhandle that's considered part of Central.
Well, whatever. Then he's Central, and he shouldn't be complaining because it's only midnight.
Yeah, it's 1 a.m.
I
for me, and
haven't
I'm
been
wide
asleep
awake.
the whole week.
Neither of I went to bed at 3 in the morning yesterday.
Are you gonna argue about going to sleep, or are you actually gonna fucking do it?
I didn't even go to bed, you jerks.
Mytho is recording for us right now, so we should probably do what he wants and wrap this up. There's only a couple more things I want to talk about. For those of you that are unaware, the unexpected love life of Dusk Shine is one of BT's favorite fics. We're probably going to do a Fanatic Fiction episode of it pretty soon. Yeah. And it has been recently turned into a comic.
Not recently. It's been going on for months.
Well, I mean, but recently they posted it on EQD.
Which is surprising to me.
And it's actually a fairly good comic. I mean, if you like the character Dusk Shine, which I'm going to admit I really like the character Dusk Shine, even though he's supposed to be the same as Twilight Sparkle.
He's not the same. He's a boy. That automatically makes him think differently.
But still, at the same time, I like the character Dusk Shine, but he's the only one that's gender swapped. Everyone else is the same exact way that they are in the show. And
not
just
quite.
so you know, the entire story is about Dusk Shine being a boy, but therefore everyone else is in love with him. And it's kind of
it's a harem story.
The author
Everybody
is pretty
loves
much
Raymond.
going through every episode of the first season and changing it so that the main characters, the main 6, are in love with Dusk Shine.
Don't forget Princess Luna.
And
Trixie.
I haven't read it yet, so I can't really say too much.
Oh, you haven't read it yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't read it yet because we haven't scheduled it yet for a.
You're allowed to read stories without BT's schedule.
Well, yeah, except for I have other stories that I want to read, so I'm reading those instead of reading the Unexpected Love of Dusk Shine. However, I will eventually read it when we do a Fanatic Fiction of it. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. Check out this comic if you haven't seen it. The artwork is really well done. It's not color. There's only a few color images of it. But most of it's black and white.
Done.
But it's really well done. And
it is.
If you haven't read it yet, just definitely go and check that out. That's one pretty good.
The grammar's a little wonky in some parts, but otherwise, it's very well done.
Yeah,
it's very manga style. Or manga, however.
I was the one who killed Discord, and your friends are next. P.S. Butts. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Apparently there was something called, there was a PMV of Get Lucky, and I'm not 100% sure what it has to do with killing Discord, but that was just a really funny images that I found, and it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so...
Indeed. And there are hot pants. Hot pants at Hot Topic that have Rainbow Dash on them and are rainbow colored. But, I mean, other than that, there wasn't too much. Equestria Girls is going to premiere in the middle of June. June 15th at 4 o'clock. They're going to be at the LA Film Festival. You know, it's something that you can go to if you're in LA, but it's something that's not too important for someone who like me who's in Minnesota. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and end this off because Mytho and Soundspeed want to go to bed.
Wimps.
Yeah, I'm a party pooper.
Praise Jesus.
So, thank you very much for joining me for my 1-year anniversary of the lightning round. I know it won't be going on for very much longer, but thank you for joining me for this episode. Stay tuned next week for the Equestria Girls discussion. It's going to be kind of interesting. I'm hoping that some people here have some interesting input to put in while we do that discussion, but it'll be kind of crazy.
Hey, I'm available
totalitarian
all the time on
fascist
weekends.
Equestrian government.
So we will talk about that next time. Why don't you guys go ahead and tell us your names again and sign off.
My name is Soundspeed. I still really like long walks on the beach, and if you're horny looking for a 13F Cali, I'm right here.
This is a pony podcast, not an adult sex dating site.
Well, that's why I said I was 13.
Ditto.
Oh, that and this is very, very illegal. And I'm E-Dragon. I don't
I'm
know
sure
what.
fire.
I will be
No,
Mytho.
that was not true.
And I'm Lightning, and we'll see you next time.
Marching on, we try again, another go. But no avail, not even close. One by one, new ideas come and go. We always try to make the most. If we keep on keeping on, then we'll reach our destiny. And we're never giving up, 'cause 1, 2, 3 is family. There's a we, not just a me. You see, we can be what we want in a life so free. And we can see every single possibility. Whoa, three's not just a crowd, three's a team. Always seems we'd come up short without our mark.